And we're going to redraft the top 10 picks of the 2018 NFL draft. So Morash will go first. He'll have Cleveland. Then I'll have the Giants second and the Jets third and so forth from there. A quick reminder of how this draft went for a little over 4 years ago, 4 years and 2.5 months ago. Baker Mayfield, 1 to the Browns. Saquon Barkley, 2 to the Giants. Sam Darnold, 3 to the Jets. Denzel Ward, 4 to the Browns. Bradley Chubb, 5th to the Broncos. Quentin Nelson, 6th to the Colts. Josh Allen, 7th to the Bills, who traded up. In our redraft, Tampa will stay in the 7th spot. Roquan Smith, 8th to the Bears. Mike McGlinchey, 9th to the 49ers. And Josh Rosen, you got to swallow hard to get that out, 10th to the Arizona Cardinals. That will stay with Oakland, as again, that was a draft day trade, Cardinals fans. Don't ever forget that. Your team traded up to get Josh Rosen. That will stay with the Raiders in our redraft. So, Morash, take it away. You get the first pick in the 2018 NFL redraft here in Snakes on the Brain.
All right, Mac, my dream job here. I get to be the Cleveland Browns general manager for 2 picks today. So I think to me this is a no-brainer. We'll get us off to an easy foot. Josh Allen is going number 1 overall to the Cleveland Browns here. Not Baker Mayfield. Solves the quarterback thing, and then they're never trading for Deshaun Watson 3 years later.
You're right. That is a no-brainer, knowing what we know now, and that's the point of a redraft. Josh Allen first overall to the Browns. You wonder how different things would be for the Browns. Would their acceleration have been even quicker? Would it have maybe paused a bit? Would they? Who knows where they'd be with Josh Allen rather than Baker Mayfield? I get the next 2 picks, the Giants at 2 and the Jets at 3. And, they picked a quarterback a year later and they went with Daniel Jones. But I wonder, would the Giants, I get to be the Giants, so I get to say, I know if I'm the Giants, I'm smart enough to recognize that the end of Eli's career is coming sooner rather than later in 2018. And I take Lamar Jackson, 2nd overall, as the heir apparent to Eli Manning at quarterback in New York. And then if I'm the Jets, we look back on what each team's needs were in that case, in that year. And the Jets, they were looking for a quarterback. Would they have gone a little aggressively there? There's no one really left after those first 2. Offensive line, edge rusher. You know what? I'll go defense. I'll go Darius Leonard. All-around impact on the defensive side of the ball for the Jets.
I love that pick, Mac, and that wraps me around to the Cleveland Browns at 4, and this is going to be our first redraft. Stays the same in the draft. Ooh. Browns stick with Denzel Ward, the corner who's been a Pro Bowler for them, maybe the best Browns corner we've seen in forever. They just paid him big bucks. Denzel Ward remains a Cleveland Brown with pick number 4.
Okay. And where do you go number 5 for the Broncos?
That's right. It is Snakes on a Brain, so I need to have both here with Snakes on a Brain.
Whereas remembering on the fly that he has to make 2 picks here.
That's correct. Number 5, I'm going to with the Denver Broncos. Look, chasing a quarterback's not going to happen here, but how about reshoring the offensive line? I'm getting future Hall of Famer Quentin Nelson as an offensive guard on this team with pick number 5. Give me Quentin Nelson to shore up that Broncos offensive line.
That's a great call because the Broncos needed offensive line in 2018. You could always use a future franchise offensive lineman like Quentin Nelson. So that brings me to Indy now at 6. There's no Quentin Nelson there for me to pick. And Tampa at 7. And I'm not answering the phone because, the Buffalo Bills aren't calling because Josh Allen has already been drafted. So nobody's looking to move up to get Josh Allen. Let's start with Indy at 6. I could use an edge rusher, maybe an inside linebacker, or another offensive lineman. You know what? Give me a guy who I think is just quietly one of the better all-around inside linebackers in the league. Give me Tremaine Edmonds. So he will not fall to the Bills in the teens as he actually did in the 2018 NFL draft. And Tampa picking at 7. I could use some secondary help. I could use a running back. Again, you could always use offensive line, but I'd like some help on the offensive side of the ball for Jameis. Again, it's 2018. So give me Nick Chubb at running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the 7th overall pick, a future franchise running back. Yes, in the top 10.
Whoa. All right. Well, with that, I can't believe we're going running back top 7, but that makes sense.
Yeah, we did it.
I will go with the Bears at number 8. They originally took Roquan Smith. I'm going to do a little change the trajectory of that division. I'm going corner again. I'm taking Jair Alexander, not allowing him to fall to the Packers at 18, one of the better corners in the NFL still. I will take him to continue to shore up that Chicago defense. Give me Alexander, a shutdown corner in the division to go up against Aaron Rodgers. And with
I
pick
like that.
number 9, because again, it's a snake draft and I got to keep going. It's the 49ers. And obviously, look, the 49ers have been all over the place here, but how about a guy who's already been on 2 teams? Give me Minkah Fitzpatrick, the safety of the 49ers. I know they love big guys up front, and I know they took McGlinchey in the offensive line here, but give me Minkah Fitzpatrick there because that's a team still built on defense, and to get a playmaker like that out in the West, I'm taking.
That's a great call. Minkah, definitely a top 10 talent. That brings me to Oakland at number 10 in our redraft of the 2018 NFL draft here in Snakes on the Brain. Because again, I don't know. Maybe Arizona does make the call and still try to trade up for Josh Rosen. You would hope they would have learned their lesson, though. We're talking about redrafting 2018 as if we knew then what we know now. So I'm assuming the Cardinals are not calling the Raiders about moving up to number 10 overall. And if there's one thing the Raiders have always loved, and to be honest, have usually reached for in the first round, it's wide receivers. The Raiders love wide receivers, especially in the first round. And you're telling me DJ Moore is still out there and he's available? Absolutely. Sign him up. He's an Oakland, soon to be Las Vegas Raider, DJ Moore at number 10 overall. So there is our redraft of the top 10 of the 2018 NFL draft. Things very different, obviously. The Browns get Josh Allen instead of Baker Mayfield. They stay with Denzel Ward, though. The Giants get Lamar Jackson and perhaps push Eli to retirement a year sooner than they actually did. And they don't take Saquon Barkley, which, look, as a Penn State guy, there are 2 things I can admit. One is we have a history of running backs coming out, having huge potential, and then falling on their faces. It's just, it's a thing. I don't know why, but it is a thing. So your New York Giants, Mraz, would not have gone through everything they've gone through over the last 4 years with Saquon.
Oh, how different my life would have been. And by the way, on top of solving their quarterback problems, actually get a better runner in Lamar Jackson than Saquon Barkley, too. What a huge difference my life would be if I didn't have to deal with the aggravation of that. What an enormous redraft. Please, let's go back in time and do this.
Yeah, and Denver gets an anchor on the interior of the offensive line and Quentin Nelson. Tremaine Edmonds ends up in Indy instead of Buffalo. Tampa Bay, admittedly a reach for a running back in the top 10, but I felt it. I felt it right here in my heart, in my chest. I went for it. Went with Nick Chubb at running back, so there's no Lenny Fournette in the postseason. Maybe there's no Tom Brady. Who knows what the future of Tampa Bay would look like.
No Vita Vea in the middle for them either, which was huge.
That's right. That was a huge move by them. And then, of course, Minkah to San Francisco. Jair Alexander swapping spots in the NFC North. Huge pick by Mraz there at 8 overall. That was fun, instructive on a redraft of the 2018 NFL draft, which, as we know, has not turned out so well for everybody, or at least most of the teams that took quarterbacks are not looking back on it very fondly. In fact, the only 2 that are, Buffalo and Baltimore. All right, we got to get